So I figured it was about time that I finally kind of commented over this video. I didn't do it because I wasn't quite feeling all that well to comment while I was unboxing everything. So I'll kind of add in a few comments as I go, but you can see that I've got a couple packages here. I was planning on using those stickers on the back of the case that I got, but you can see the package on top is kind of smaller and thinner, and then the main shebang is there in the bottom box. So I've kind of been playing around with the phone for a little bit. So I've got a few first impressions about it when I first opened it and kind of messed with it. But we're going to kind of start off with the secondary package that has the accessories in it. So we're going to open it in the typical fashion in our barbarian methods. So just kind of a quick overview, you can see we've got the case here and my face reflecting on the packaging. And then we've also got the glass screen protector, which I haven't quite put on yet, but the plastic screen protector that comes on the phone is kind of scratched up right now. I took it with me once today out in the wild, but I still haven't kind of set it up as my daily driver. So I've kind of got the hard case and the glass screen protector. So here we've got some pretty simple packaging. And the Pinephone itself with its packaging is rather conservative, but it looks really good. So they just have this outer box. The outer box I was kind of worried about, like puncturing the inner box because of because it was kind of crushed. But that really turned out to not be the case. So you can see for the Plasma edition of the Pinephone, that they had a slightly different box than they normally have for like some of the others that had like a cool pattern over the whole thing. They kind of went really simple and just went straight with the logo. So we'll kind of get our other stuff out of the way. It does come covered in plastic. So it does have a few features in it. It does support most like wireless bands and everything. Again, the box itself is pretty simple. So you can see some of these contents of the box in there, what it kind of comes with, but once we get into the box, we really kind of see what it comes in it. And I was kind of being really careful with this one, kind of doing just enough so that I could just kind of peel it off. And I didn't really damage the box at all, so I did a pretty good job, I think. These boxes do seem to be pretty tight. They fit really well together. So when you get the box is pretty tight, and if you put it back together empty, it's going to be kind of difficult to open back up. Luckily, the weight in it it helped a little bit in opening it up a little bit the first time around. So now when I want to go back into the box, I kind of have to go and do it the hard way. They did have like a micro SIM to a nano SIM to micro SIM adapter that I kind of left in the box. So if I want to fish that out, I've got to go back into the box. But yeah, they kind of give you the cool, like, thanks for buying the Pinephone leaflet and stuff that way. And then they've got a really short user manual there that you can see. So this edition is obviously the Plasma edition of the Pinephone. Basically, it's based on Manjaro, but it's got Plasma built into it. So you don't really see any of the Manjaro branding when you boot up the OS initially. But yeah, that was kind of interesting. So pulling out the phone is kind of interesting. You can see that I kind of found out that the packaging was slightly damaged on the inside. Nothing too bad. The phone was fine. Everything came out just fine. Just kind of gotta dump the thing there. So in the bottom here, I got the Convergence edition of it. So it has a little bit more RAM, a little bit more memory on the eMMC, and then it comes with this cool dock. So if I want to connect it to an external monitor, mouse, keyboard, and so on, I can do that. I can also use that to connect controllers to the Pinephone if I really want to via USB. It's kind of hit and miss with like what'll work with the emulators, but Convergence Edition kind of works. It does have a charger for it, so, and it does have the Ethernet stuff, so you can connect it up that way. So underneath the phone, we've got the red USB-C to USB-A cable that it comes with. This is basically just small enough. I've got another USB-A, USB-C cable that I've had for a while that I've used for charging my Switch when I'm not in the normal spot. And that USB end is slightly too big for the hard case, so I have to use this cable in order to charge the phone if I have the case on. I don't really show it off, I don't think, but the nano to micro SIM adapter's in there. Again, it's all red on the cable as well, so you get that bit along with it. So now for the main caboodle. The phone was a bit heftier than I thought it would be initially, which kind of surprised me, and a good portion of that heft is actually in the battery itself. So you can see that they've kind of got the branding on the back. I'm debating on getting a non-branded backplate for it. It was kind of tough to pull apart by hand, so give it a second and I will eventually pull out a P38 to kind of pry it open. So here we go, reaching over. Get that P38 kind of in there. They've kind of got a little notch on the side for prying it open, so you're not like stuck with it. But the first time is kind of tough, but after that, kind of prying it up gets a little bit easier. So you can see the fat battery that there is. Again, P38 to the rescue to pry out the battery. Or no, wait, it was a penny I used. Never mind. So, pry that out. Gotta pull off the little plasticky bit. Gotta play with it first to show it off, but yeah. So, now we're ready to pop the battery back in and boot up the Pinephone if we really want to. Just put everything back together in the box. Pretty box. That initial screen cover that you see is kind of that like little like plastic cover that most screen protectors basically come with to kind of help you put it on. So it snaps and clicks really well when you're putting it back together. So give it a good first boot. It does come with a little bit of a charge. But yeah, kind of when I first was, I kind of gave Plasma Mobile a little bit of time, kind of a day or two where I messed with it. I found it kind of clunky as a first impression. So what I ended up doing after messing with it for a bit, is I ended up putting Arch on it instead. Arch with Phosh. So I'm basically using the default desktop environment on the phone that most of the other distros that you're going to get are going to come with. So that's kind of flashed onto the eMMC. And Phosh, I'm kind of playing with, Manjaro Lemiri right now. And I'm kind of stuck between the two, between Foch and Lemiri. So I'm still kind of giving Lemiri a day because I just got SD cards that I've kind of been flashing stuff with. So I'm kind of playing around with a couple different ones. I've got a Ubuntu Touch that I've put onto an SD card for that. Then I've got an SD card that I'm basically dedicating for jump drive so that I can flash stuff to the eMMC straight away. So I'm still kind of sifting around with what I want to play with. I'm kind of leaning towards Lemiri, but Foch is still kind of in there a bit. But there's not a lot of applications that kind of work with the Pinephone right now, especially with how early it is. But most of the basic things work pretty well. Firefox works pretty well. But yeah, I'll still kind of play around. I'll probably end up doing something a bit later on, kind of showing that off. But yeah, if you've got any suggestions, any ideas, you just want to scream at me and say that I'm using the Pinephone wrong and that I didn't give Plasma Mobile enough of a chance, you can do that. Kind of check out the Discord and that kind of thing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.